Okay, we'll call to order this meeting at 9:07. Do you want to do roll call, Mark?
Campbell? Chris?
Here.
Latrell? Here. Peaches?
Present.
And Michaels? Here.
First thing is petitions or communications, oral or written. Is there any on that subject?
Tom, I'd like to get in under communications, oral or written. Before we do that, was Mr. Mayor able to log on?
Yes.
Yes, I'm on.
Great. And Marty, just so I know, are there other guests or members of the city present, or is this the extent based on roll call?
This is the extent of it.
Okay. And so I'd like to begin by saying I was very disappointed last week that I did not receive an invitation to join the meeting. The meeting prior to that, I was sent an email invitation, but the most recent meeting, I did not receive an invitation. That's point one. Point two is my computer, I have no minutes, no previous minutes for the year 2020. I'd like to note that we're into the 7th month and I have no minutes to review. I also do not have the minutes from the most recent meeting, so it's hard to, as a board member, to approve meetings, to be prepared for meetings when administratively I'm facing these obstacles. The third and final point I'd like to make is with the county courtrooms open, with no less than 50% of America gone back to work, I'd like to address this to Mr. Mayor and say, sir, please open City Hall. The county courtroom is open. I don't understand why City Hall cannot be opened, or more importantly, or more to this meeting, I would like to say, I would like us to be able to meet person to person, eye to eye, even if it's with social distancing of 6 feet, which has been generally accepted by the health department as safe. And I can't see how I can conduct any business in today's meetings when I don't have these key documents in front of me. And when I was put on the sidelines, I don't know if that was by the tourism board manager deliberately or not, but it's making it hard for me to do my job as an elected official.
Well, in response to you, I know that the county courts, their rooms, of course, are much larger than what we have there at City Hall, and there's got to be a certain number of or spacing to have that, to be able, because the health department goes by so much square footage. I'll bring that up to Mike Valentine, and he can get back with you, Marty, to see if that's something he wants to attempt. I know that we are still conducting our meetings. For instance, last night by Zoom, our executive session, we did have face-to-face, with the proper social distancing because of the number of people that we had there. So I will bring that up to him and see what he said.
Mr. Mayor, I don't know if you know, has anybody at the city approached the health department with a map of City Hall to show or to identify what is acceptable spaces to use, boardrooms and whatnot for these meetings? Has anybody submitted that for approval to the health department?
Well, I'm sure they have, because I know that Mike has been in contact with the health department for acceptance on just for what we did last night. So have you seen those applications and that map, sir? I haven't seen them simply because that's beyond my purview. That's Mike's wheelhouse.
I get that, sir, but the thing of it is you said you're sure that the city has done that. I'm not so certain, and all the other businesses have done that. I rest my point.
Okay.
I'd like to say something. The only thing I would like to have is that maybe the next work session that we'd be able to meet, because of the things coming up, the budget and everything for 2021. That's what I have to say on that one. If you could find out when Phil checks with Mike Valentine, then maybe you could bring that up to him, Marty.
Does the tourism board manager or anybody have any comments or explanations why we don't have access to the board minutes for 2020?
Minutes are always included in your regular meeting board packets.
Sorry, I'm here.
Okay, I did send Tom Kress a screenshot of my city computer this morning, which clearly shows I do not have access to any of the board minutes for this year.
Let me address that. Okay?
Absolutely, sir. And I do want to just clarify that I have only 3 board packets on file also. So I'm just frustrated that I can't do the job I was elected to do because the administration is not sharing the information.
I don't think it's that the administration is not sharing it. There might be something wrong with your computer. And, Marty, the best thing to do is to get with our IT person to see if maybe he needs to get his computer changed up. Because we know that when you send out information,
Sir, respectfully, the problem is
would you please let me finish?
Absolutely. Go ahead, sir.
I'm getting tired of hearing you, okay? So let me finish. So, Marty, if you would get with the IT person and see if there is a problem with his computer, and then if there is a problem, then you can go back and reinstall all the information that is necessary so that he could have it. So if we could get that done, after this meeting today, it'd be great. But it can't be correct.
In addition to that, Scott, what I'll do is I will print all the board packets and put them into a folio for you, and hand deliver them so that you can have them all.
There's one very easy solution to all of this is to give the board members the login and the password to the Google Documents where the files are kept.
The files are on your Google Drive, and each of the board. Right. So if you log into your Google Drive, all the files should be there, and I'll go back in after this meeting and make sure that all of those files are there and that you have access to them. I don't know why you're not.
And as I pointed out, if you provide the login and the password, it doesn't matter what computer is used. So then it's no longer a problem of an old computer to access that information.
That's correct. So if you'll let me finish, the login information for all of these meetings is also your email address. You can also access via the computer. You are not being singled out and not receiving information. The way I communicate with the tourism board is I have a group email that I have set up. I don't individually send anybody anything. Everything that I send to the tourism board is sent to the group. And so if you're not receiving that information, that it's an error on your behalf, not on ours, because it seems like the remaining members of the board are receiving the information, and I don't know why you're not. I do request a read receipt or response in my emails that I send out, asking if you will please respond and let me know that you're receiving the information. I don't generally receive a response from many of the board members on a lot of the information that I send here. So again, I ask, please, in order to communicate efficiently, if you will please respond and let me know whether you're not or you are getting the information that I am sending out. It only takes a few seconds. In regards to to the approval of the minutes.
I need to make one clarification. I'd like to point out to him, he's not an elected official, he's an appointed person to a board and commission.
Go ahead, Marty.
In response to the, as far as the approval of minutes for the June 10th meeting, I was not present at that meeting, so I believe Victor Gutierrez handled that. He did present me with a copy of the minutes. Unfortunately, it was at the time when I was moving my workspace. We were opening the Welcome Center and those minutes were misplaced, but in the meantime, I have access to recording of the meeting that I will have minutes for. So if I could ask the board to table the approval of the June 10th minutes, and I will have those the next regular meeting for your review and approval.
I move to table the minutes until the next meeting until you're able to get that done.
Thank you, Camilla.
I'll second it.
Roll call, Marty.
Campbell,
Yes.
Press,
Yes.
Littrell,
Yes.
Zeachus,
Yes.
Michaels.
Yes.
Thank you.
The next thing on the agenda is that right? Is that the Chronicle News, Amanda ad and the Colorado Life? Is that right?
And the postage and the billboard for out front.
Okay, we'll take care of all of those at one time.
Make a motion to approve the invoices.
I second it.
A roll call.
Campbell,
Yes.
Press,
Yes.
Littrell,
Yes.
Zeachus,
I don't understand how you can approve the invoices when we don't have the minutes of the previous meeting. I can't vote on it because I wasn't in the previous meeting and I don't have the minutes.
these don't have anything to do with the previous meeting, Scott. These were just submitted for this.
I just don't have a documentation to go along with that.
The documentation is in your packet. The Chronicle News ad is also in your packet. Postage is a monthly.
Ma'am, I'm talking about the documentation, meaning the minutes of the previous meeting.
These are things that have been approved, Scott. We're just paying the bills that of a continuation of something that had been agreed upon already.
I don't know when it was agreed upon it because I don't have the minutes to review when that was. Does anybody know the date? Was it prior to my term?
You were in the meeting when we agreed to have Amanda do some ads with the Chronicle News. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
And the Colorado Life magazine, I think you were also present at that meeting when we agreed for the advertising on that particular magazine there. What were the other two, Marty? I don't have those two on mine.
Outfront Media is the billboard that we pay on a monthly basis for the billboard that is just north of Walmart between exit 11 exit 14, and exit 13. And that is a monthly.
And you had been present when we have talked about that one there also, Scott. If you can recall any of that.
So, yes, sir. So those invoices that I was present upon, then yes, I can vote in favor of those, paying those bills.
Okay, thank you.
And Michaels.
Yes.
So invoices are approved.
Yes.
Thank you, Marty. Next is financials, a budget recap worksheet.
So an explanation of the budget worksheet. That worksheet was provided by Cheryl, our financial director, and City Council will be moving forward with discussions on the 2021 budget. Cheryl has provided worksheets for each of the departments so that we can work forward to adopting a budget for 2021. There's, nothing that we're going to adopt today. I just provided you with the worksheet and the financials up to this point for 2021. A recap, 2020, a recap of the budget should be the first sheet in your packet. You'll see a tourism recap as well as that for the rest of the city. The budget report is the next item in your packet, and then the worksheet is the third item in your packet.
Can we have any discussion on it, or you just gave that to us to
That's only for your review so that we can discuss this in the work session that will be coming up, but I wanted to provide it to you early enough so that you could review it before the next work session. That should give you 2 weeks to be able to review it, and then you can start discussing setting the budget and using this worksheet to do so.
Okay. And now that work session, I would really appreciate it if maybe we could get together on that one, if that is possible. Mr. Mayor, maybe you could help us out on that one, or Marty, when you talk to Mike.
Yes, sir.
I'll find out from Mike and then I'll get back to Marty.
Okay, I appreciate that. So then we could move on to old business then, since we can't have no discussion on that.
Right. So,
Anybody else have any questions on that?
Just one quick question about the worksheets that are provided. You said, Marty, those are from 2020, right?
Yes.
They're like an example of last year's budget to help us with the next year. Okay.
exactly.
All right. It'll be my first budget meeting, so I guess we have lots to learn, but that works for me. Thank you.
Phil, will you be present at that meeting? Would you be able to be present at that meeting?
I'm not sure if I can, in a sense, because then that would put me in a position of hearing your information before we take it to council.
Okay.
That may put me in a difficult position. So I'll weigh that, but I may not be able.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
We might be able to invite Cheryl to that meeting from a professional standpoint.
I would appreciate that. Next would be old business, KCRT promotional agreement and the Go Travel sites.
Okay, I have one question on KCRT. Okay, that's $4,000 for the year, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
And for that $4,000, we're receiving the same ads that we would be receiving, and they adjusted that bid. It was $4,995. They gave us the same amount of ads for the 4,000. So they took off almost $1,000 off of that.
$1,000 for the same number of ads.
Thank you, Marty, for taking care of that.
You're welcome.
And then the Go Travel sites and the grants.
So we'll need a motion on KCRT first, please.
Really quick, I think it is fair to bring Scott up to date on what our discussion was last week before we vote. So when we discussed KCRT last week, Scott, we did come to the conclusion that we are already over budget on advertising, but that we're going to be able to move some line items and cover that budget. And because of the coronavirus, we've been fortunate enough that a lot of the line items that we would normally have to pay, we don't have this year, like the trolley or the I guess the salary we would pay the trolley man as well. And there were a couple other things that we're going to be able to pull from. So just so you know, although we are already over budget on advertising and plan to make our advertising bucket a little bit bigger next year, knowing that we're consistently over budget on advertising, that we do have some money to put back into the community as far as funding us for KCRT. I figured the same thing for the GoCool website. We did also talk about the visitor guides and moving them to a more online approach or a web representation of the visitor guides. That way it would be a little easier to update and put them through the GoCo website, which is good for advertising for us. So I don't know if anybody else wants to add to that, but I just want to catch you up on the discussion that we had last week, because I was kind of against going for any more advertising, knowing that we were already over, but then looking again at the budget and seeing that we are going to have some lines that we can pull from in order to fill that hole. So I don't know if anybody else wants to add anything, or if you have any questions before we make a vote on that.
Amanda, thank you for sharing those comments. In response, I just would like to understand two things. First, is this we're approving historical funding, or we're approving funding going forward?
This is going
Funding
forward.
going forward.
This would be
Okay,
for,
I would like to say that even though there's budgetary information in the board packet, I think from a conservative position, it's hard to approve funding going forward until we have that budgetary meeting that Tom is trying to set up.
Scott, on this one for KCRT, one of the things is we've pulled back $60,000 from the grants that we're not giving out also. So there is plenty of money. It's just where this contract lands up with KCRT is the way I feel forward going on with it to help the local businesses in the community with what we've been doing. I don't know if you heard any of these ads that we continue to run in the Chronicle News. I mean, not in the Chronicle News, I'm sorry, in the KCRT ads. So that's why I feel we need to go forward on with this KCRT one. But if you don't want to vote on it, I could see your point.
just for clarification, Scott, this would come out of the 2020 budget, not the 2021 budget?
And the 2020 budget has already been approved, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you for explaining these details.
Okay, I make a motion to approve KCRT for $4,000 advance.
I'll second it. I second.
Campbell,
Yes.
Crest,
Yes.
Luttrell,
Yes.
Zeachus,
Yes.
Michaels?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have grants coming up. Grants at,
Scott, let's back up to the GoCo.
Got GoCo.
oh,
The
I'm
Go
sorry.
Travel site. That's okay. So in your packets, there is a letter from Chris Newton, who is the Destination Partnership Development person for Go Colorado website. And he did share some information, noting that in 2020 we started strong both in January and February, increasing 31%. And this is in regards to the reader leads that we receive from the website. So they generate reader leads that I in turn fulfill with our visitor guide. This in turn is what we pay postage for every month. So I mail those visitor guides out in response to the reader leads that are generated by the Go Colorado sites. So we had an increase in January and February. And compared to 2019 in March, we had a 27% decrease. And in April, the statistics started to pick up with a 9% decrease. We expected May to be close back to 2019 numbers. And he did attach a report from January 2019 to present. We sent 2,637, or they sent us 2,637 reader leads for us to fulfill with our visitor guides. So that's how many people received information on Trinidad in response to the advertising that we do on the Go Travel sites.
Thank you, Marty.
And they are also the ones that are requesting a PDF, so a web type flipbook of our visitor guide, which I am currently working to update with Studio 6 so that we can start using an online tool rather than a print tool. And they've offered to do that for free. So that will in turn eliminate some of the costs that are associated with fulfillment in regards to postage and printing. So I thought very generous of them.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? 1,125 month, year?
Year.
Thank you. I motion to approve GoCo sites for 1,125 for the year.
I second. And really quick, Marty, just so I'm clear, Studio 6 is going to do a free update on the PDF so that we can send that to GoCo?
No, not free. Studio 6, what I'm doing is I am making the corrections. I am sending them the corrected version of the PDF so that they can take a look at it and then in turn give us a cost of what that cost is going to be.
For printing, right?
No, just for the PDF corrections.
Okay.
Studio 6 doesn't do anything for free.
And we don't have to take it, it's just a cost.
Right, they're submitting a bid.
Right.
But we do want to send an updated version to GoCo. We don't want to post something that's not updated.
No, we will have to make some changes to our visitor guide. It's inevitable.
It's time.
So it is time. It's that version was printed in early 2018, so that makes it almost 4 years old. The information was presented in 2017. We used it in 2018, 2019, in 2020, 2021. If we don't get moving quickly, we're going to have the same old information. So that's the product that we send our visitors, and we should have it updated.
Thank you, Marty.
You're welcome. So I have a motion and a second. Roll call. Campbell?
Yes.
Press?
Yes.
Luttrell? Amanda?
We had some real serious technical difficulties today. I apologize. But yes, I'm ready.
They just... Scott?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
The answer was yes.
Michael?
Yeah.
Thank you. Now you can move on to grants, Tom.
Okay, thank you. Grants, okay. The one thing I wanted to ask you, Marty, is did you check on the other ones to see if they were proceeding forward? I did give you the information on the farmer's market. They're not proceeding forward for the
Right.
for the year. Did you find out anything else on the rest of them?
The Mitchell, the Fox Theater, Artocade is still, they're still pending, but he said that they probably will move forward with that. But he can't give us a definite as of yet, because he has not been approved. So there's no definite answer on Artocade. The Branson High-Low Gravel Grinder is a yes. They are moving forward with that. I spoke to John Terry at the county for the Los Animas County Fair Board. They're still looking at moving forward, and that's all of it. So you have the Mitchell, you have the Fox Theater, you have the Branson High-Low Gravel Grinder, and the Los Animas County Fair.
Okay. Before we move forward on these, we have set aside $10,000 for this set of grants. So how much money we give these, we haven't talked about it. We just have in front of us how much money they're asking for. So if anybody has any suggestions, we'll start with Camilla on the money sense that she feels, and then each one of us will have an opportunity to say what we feel should be given at this point to them to the spread of the $10,000.
Tom, might I suggest that each of the grants be taken as a separate discussion? So you can start
That's
with
fine.
Los Animas County Fair. Their request is
Yes.
for $4,000, and then you can have your discussion on the fair.
And Marty, this is the first time we've ever supported this 4-H, right? Or we have before.
Yeah, you have.
We have.
Yes, I don't
Support me there.
The tourism board has supported the 4-H fair in some manner.
Okay. All right. It hadn't been since I had been on the board. I just didn't know. So we'll take the Los Animas County Fair. If Camilla, you want to start.
Well, I'm not too sure on the amount right now because of what's going on around with our country, but I do want to say it's whatever money we give them, for them to send us in the bills, and we will pay off the bills. We will not give them any money. I do not feel we should get anybody any money directly. It's pay the bills and send us the bills for anything outside of the radius. Our thing is outside the radius, 50 miles outside of the radius at Trinidad. And that's a fine line. I would like to do, if they do locally, advertise a little locally, I like to work on that fine line. But I still want the bills sent in before we will pay the bills, or they pay the bills and send us a copy and we will reimburse them. Because we don't know what's going on. The Los Animas County Fair, I'm sure a lot of the county people will come in. What will take place, I don't know. So, and where they advertise, I don't know. So, I'm willing to give them a small token of money for advertising. And if they advertise locally, I think that would be okay.
So your thing is you would like to pay their invoices for anything that they would advertise outside the 50-mile radius. Is that right?
Up to a certain amount. Let's say
Okay.
I'm gonna go $800. We will pay up to $800 for advertising.
So,
Hey, Tom, can I say something, please?
Okay.
You got to be very careful here. I can understand Kamala's reasoning, but you also watch that you're setting the precedents. And is that going to be a requirement for any other monies that you do?
We have done that. We have done that in the past, Bill. We have done that in the past for Senate bill. We've always done that.
Okay, and that's fine. You gotta be careful that you don't set a precedent and they don't feel like you're picking on them. Okay.
So I understand what you're saying, but we have done that in the past. That's why I brought it up.
Amanda, I'll let you go next. Go ahead, Marty.
On their application, one of the questions that's asked on the application is the approximate portion of the budget that's dedicated beyond a 50-mile radius of Trinidad. And the Los Animas County Fair has 2,500 dedicated to advertising outside of that radius. So
okay, thank you. I saw that.
Even though they're asking for 4,000, the amount dedicated inside was 2,500.
Okay, thank you. I saw that. Thank you. Amanda?
Yeah, I'd like to ask, in response to Camilla's suggestion about paying just the bills, in previous years, what would you normally do? We would send them money, or you would only, I thought this was only for advertising and for bill pay. So what would be like normal protocol?
In the past, Amanda, is they're given what they're asked for or an amount that we've agreed upon. Being that this is all so different now, we didn't know who was moving forward and who's not moving forward, and the amount of money that we do have to give out for grants. So that's why we have these grants here now in front of us, and they surely surpass the $10,000 that we're going to give. So we have to come to some kind of consensus to be able to help out all of them with the little bit of money that we do have. And that's one of the suggestions that Camilla has, is that we'll pay their invoices for the ads that they're doing outside a 50-mile radius. Is that better for you?
Right.
And could I add something? Can I make an amendment and I'll go $1,000?
Okay, Camilla, you need to wait your turn. Go ahead, Amanda.
Well, sorry, whatever you were going to say.
Yeah, I would like to add something to the conversation when there's a moment.
Okay, let's finish with Amanda.
Okay.
Well, this being new, and then also on top of it being very different, my thought, I went back and kind of just did some refiguring of the grant amounts. We're obviously not going to be able to pay the full amount to any of these grants. So I feel very confused and like I really don't know what I'm doing. But I do suggest that we pay a small amount to each of the things that are moving forward, so that we can support our community. And maybe the answer is just doing 1,000 each. I'd like to hear from everybody else I'd like to hear from everybody else. I feel very unknown here. I don't really understand how we can move forward, but go ahead.
Okay, Sai, go ahead.
So on the Los Animas County Fair, most of the years that I recollect, we have done basically an ad in their guide for the county fair showing support for tourism. That amount has a variable over the years, obviously times that we need more. This seems like a little larger amount than they normally do for the county fair. If they do the county fair, I'm in agreement with the way that we have done it many times in the past, which is that we would allow advertising up to a certain amount of dollars, and we pay those bills direct or reimburse direct. We don't give them just a bulk of money. Usually the county fair booklet is about $1,000, but it's sort of like it also twinges into that the county fair and also do the parade, which will happen in September. Same people, and so I'm not, they'll have to come back for if they do that, if they do the parade this year in September. So it's usually the same people, Karen Burr, who does the county fair, and she also does the parade that we all experience every year in September. So that's the background on that. We usually do an ad. I don't know why they're asking for $4,000. We usually do around $1,000 to help supply that booklet that they put out, if they're still having that. And I don't know if you want me to go through the list of mine, Tom, that I feel, or if we're just taking this one at a time like we started.
We'll take this fair first. We'll do this one first, and then I think it's better that we stay on this one, and then we'll let Scott. What do you think, Scott?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Hello. All right. I don't. I want to say that I go along with the intent and the idea of Camilla, and I don't want to make this a game of semantics, but we have to look at if we collect those receipts, is it just advertising or is it advertising and marketing? And the definition for marketing is a much broader term and concept than the pure portion of advertising dollars. So I'd like to make that point. The second part I'd like to make is some of these grant applications are for different events. As an example, the A.R. Mitchell has a pending grant application for its Sacred Heart showing or event. That's what's currently on the table. However, as I understand it, previously approved grant funding has been stopped pending reopening of the Mitchell, which happened on June 22nd. So if the previous grant has been pulled, that was awarded, perhaps we need to communicate that with the board of the A.R. Mitchell Museum. And if it has not been pulled, perhaps we could send them a letter saying we realize that you opened on June 22nd, and of course that can be verified. And is the board in agreement that previously committed funding moves forward? And again, that's only one example. Perhaps all of these grant applications need to be reviewed.
Scott, I agree with you on the marketing, but I would like to just stay with the Los Animas County Fair now.
Okay, I can totally support the fair, no problem at all.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate that. So, I agree with Amanda and Camilla on $1,000 for the Los Animas County Fair. If we take that at one at a time, but I think that is would be fair as to the amount of grants that we have and the amount of money. So that's my feeling on that one. So how do you want to vote on each one of these grants, Marty? Yes, okay, so that's how I feel on that. I feel that if anybody wants to make a motion as to how much they would like to offer to or give to the Los Animas County.
I would make a motion. I would make a motion to approve up to $1,000 for advertising and promotion for the Los Animas County Fair, to be reimbursed for actual amounts.
I second that motion.
And just to clarify, so everyone understands that means that the ad ends up being $900. We only pay $900. We don't pay $1,000.
Thank you, sir.
Well, and again, just to be clear, if they promote, is part of that covered under marketing, and they get the full 1,000 if they provide the receipts, or only we're promoting or we're approving funding for just advertising? And in which case, I absolutely don't have an issue with, other than we should be distinct and clearly communicating that to them.
Okay, I'm gonna go just with advertising.
Okay, thank you.
You want to take roll, Marty?
Campbell,
Yes.
Crest,
Yes.
Latrell,
Yes.
Zeachus,
Yes.
Michaels.
Yes, and if the ad, it doesn't, I just want to make sure that the ad says, on the bottom of whatever page we're supporting, that, you know, the tourism board gets credit.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks, Marty.
Okay, the next grant application would be the Branson High-Low Gravel Grinder. And that grant is for $700.
I make a motion to approve of the $700, up to $700, with receipts given to us to be paid. Did we do that way last year too, Marty?
No,
Yes.
Yeah,
we gave him $500. But, we do not require receipts,
Oh, I thought,
not for the Branson.
well, I still will, I would still like to see $700 with receipts though.
I'll second that.
I would just like to see that they used it for advertising or marketing. That would clarify it.
I would agree.
And just to be clear, does that comment go back to the county fair, or are we saying the county fair can only do advertising, but the gravel grinder can do advertising and marketing? Just need to be clear on that point.
Gravel grinder, just advertising.
Just advertising.
Just
Sorry about
advertising.
that.
Right? Okay, thank you.
Hey, Tom,
Yes.
you know, there's something that, I'm not sure if you guys require, but on any of these grants, there should be, I'm not sure, Marty, if you require a final report at the end of the grant cycle, so that, and it should be all listed out, marketing, advertising, or that anyhow?
Yes, it's in the grant application.
Okay.
Thank you.
And with some of the grants that we approved last year, one of the things that they were, we extended their grant for another 6 months. And that is actually what Scott was referring to earlier about previously approved grant monies that were supposed to be submitted. And they were to submit to the tourism board upon the approval of that extension, a quarterly report. So the Art Arcade and the Art Cartopia Museum and the A.R. Mitchell Museum were both granted extensions on their grants in 2019 or 2020. 2019 and going into 2020, they were granted an additional funding for 6 months, 2020, with the submission of the quarterly report. So that's another requirement that we have of some of these grants that are approved is a quarterly report.
Thank you, Marty.
So Branson High-Low Gravel Grinder, I have a motion and a second to approve for $700. Roll call would, let's see, Campbell,
Yes.
Crest,
Yes.
Latrell,
Yes.
Zeachus,
Yes.
Michaels.
Yes.
Okay, so the next one would be, since we're not sure on Artocade and the farmer's market is not moving forward, the next one would be the Fox West Theater. They've requested $2,500 for a virtual event at this point. Discussion?
Camilla?
They're gonna do a virtual in September.
Unless yes, at this point, it's planned to be a virtual event unless things open up a little bit by that time, and they'll go forward with an actual in-person live event.
And this virtual, will it be through Facebook or something else like that?
He didn't clarify. Let me look at the application real quick.
Or I don't know how he plans to go through that right now. So,
okay, so what the application is they resubmitted their application after we explained to them that, you know, whether they were going to go forward or not. And so what they said was that given the COVID-19 pandemic that is impacting the world in 2020, the September season has been refashioned to be a virtual season with a variety of acts filmed on the theater stage and live streamed beginning in September. In conjunction with these acts being streamed, the September season will feature activities happening in the fall and winter in Trinidad, encouraging and promoting visits to Trinidad. Viewers will have opportunities to visit and tour the theater when they come to Trinidad and to participate in the arts, cultural, and outdoor activities that are part of the community. This approach is structured to help bring people to Trinidad, to provide guests, to support lodging, restaurants, retail, and events happening in the community. Featuring a variety of music genres, the September season will host local, regional, and national bands. In conjunction with the musical performances, educational sessions will be developed and streamed, taking advantage of the knowledge and expertise of participating musicians. The September season will provide community members an opportunity to virtually experience live performances in the Fox West Theater, an experience not available since the early 1940s. So it doesn't specifically say where it's being streamed.
Yeah, at this point, I like to either table it or table it, because until they a little bit more sure what's going on with this thing, and because if do it through Facebook, you could do a lot of advertising on Facebook, but on their own, I don't know.
It also might be live streamed on YouTube or
yeah. So
and they might utilize our website as well.
At this point, I can't vote on that right now. So I would like to table that.
Amanda?
I think that regardless if it's going to be an online or an in-person thing, that they are going to go through with it. It appears that they've, you know, when they first brought the grant to us, it was absolutely in person, and they were able to turn it around, lower the amount that they were requesting, and kind of give us an entirely new idea of how they were going to make this happen. And I know this one was a little different than some of the other events, because this is now a virtual event that doesn't necessarily bring people into Trinidad immediately, but like we talked about, it promotes the Fox Theater, which has the potential to bring in visitors for years to come. I would like to move forward with it. I think we could afford to maybe start off with an amount of $1,000, and then depending on how they move forward in the next month, maybe make a decision if we wanted to give them a little more. it's hard, I think, because now they're probably teetering on the idea of, okay, do we advertise for an in-person event, or are we going to advertise for a virtual event? But is that a possibility to start with a small amount and then move forward as they move forward, or is this a one-time decision?
No, that's just that's a good opinion. I like that. Cy?
I would like to recommend now, if they do it on Facebook, there isn't any cost. So, but to show support for the Fox West Theater and all that the city and Dana Crawford are doing to bring that more to light, and I'm sure that their list for that would be good. I would like to, I would feel comfortable doing something like up to $750 with receipts. And then that puts them in a position of using that money to advertise Trinidad more than just staying on Facebook.
Thank you, Cy. Scott?
Just to be clear, was Camilla's comment to table this a motion to table it? Or were you still in the comments portion?
We're still in the comments.
Okay. I think that there should be an update to their application. Perhaps Marty can submit to them some of the board's comments or concerns if that is valid and appropriate, and perhaps they can re-look at some of their details and the money that they're requesting. Also keep in mind that right now it seems like the general consensus is that we're offering advertising dollars, so maybe they can do a better job in defining what those advertising dollars might be spent on.
Okay, thank you. I feel that the $750 is a good amount to be part of what's going to be coming for the Fox Theater, and I agree with both Amanda and Cy. So that's my thing on it. So if you want to take a roll on that one, Marty.
We'll need a motion first.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve up to $750 for advertising for the Fox Theater virtual events.
Before I second, I think I'd like to add on that we should request a little more information about the event, where it's going to be streamed. With the receipts, we'd also like a bit of an advertising plan, or a better understanding of how they're going, where they're streaming, how they're going to advertise for that. In order for us to give them any more, I think we need that information as well.
Is that anywhere in that grant? Is that anywhere in that grant, Marty?
That's what I'm looking at.
Okay. I don't see it in there.
No, it doesn't specify expenses. No, it just says, okay, so broadcast, there is on the last sheet it says broadcast TV, KKTV would be PSAs, KRDO PSAs, KUSA PSAs, the Santa Fe, New Mexican would be a a print ad. Taos News would be a print ad. Colorado Springs Independent, Indy, is also a print ad. So they're still apparently looking at doing print advertising for the virtual event.
Okay, so it is in there then. Thank you. Okay, Amanda?
So I do amend that we have the advertising plan there, and therefore I second $750.
Okay, you want to take roll, Marty?
Campbell?
Can I ask a question? Repeat what we're approving. The 750, bring us the bills. I'm sorry,
Yes.
I had to step away.
Yes.
Yes, that's it? Okay, yeah.
Chris,
Yes.
Latrell,
Yes.
Zeechus,
Yes.
Michaels,
Yes.
thank you.
Thanks, Marty.
The last one is the Mitchell. And on your agenda, it says on hold until opening, and she is now open, just so that you all know. And in addition to that, I will find out why she hasn't received her payments on her extension of her approved grant. I don't know why that was held back. I will check with our financial department to find out why that last payment wasn't made.
Wait, can I ask, when was it supposed to end? Do you know when it was supposed to end?
There was supposed to be a payment, there were supposed to be two payments. One for the first quarter of 2020 and a second one for the second quarter in 2020. And so the board did not approve holding back on any payments for that approved grant. So I'll find out why that payment hasn't been made.
Thank you, Marty.
Is it okay to speak, Tom?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just, again, would like to clarify that the payments to the board, I'd like to clarify that the payments that we're referring to is an operational grant for advertising, marketing, and promoting the Mitchell Museum. That's different than the grant application that's in front of you now, which specifically deals with the Sacred Heart event, which, as I understand, is now open.
Okay, can I make a comment? I understand that there are two different grants here going on. The first grant where we approved for advertising, you got to realize since March, she's been closed. So she hasn't been doing any advertising for those monthly cycles to be advertising. I like to know if she advertised March, April, May while she was closed, because that was the money was going to her for advertising in those months. She has since been closed, and maybe that's why they stopped payment, because she's not advertising for those months. Even though we approved
yes, I'm sorry. Yes. A very good point, Camilla, and I think it would be very fair to ask the board of the Mitchell Museum to answer what they have done with those funding, whether it was funds that were used for previously committed advertising, as so many others, including the Tourism Board, has done. I think it's a very fair point that you make that says we ask the board to please provide where that funding has gone. Notwithstanding that point, what we're looking at today is a grant application for a particular event.
Yes, thank you. And Marty will look into that, the other part. This is what's on the table right now is the Aero Mitchell.
Okay, my next question is on this previous grant that we're looking at right now. This thing is supposed to go from April until when? Does anybody know?
Is it on the application, Marty?
I'm looking right now.
Okay.
Well, I think what would help is, again, to caution, it's not a point of semantics, but if the grant application or the notes on the board packet indicated that it was for the Sacred Heart event and not the Mitchell Museum, which happens to be hosting it, and then to answer Camilla's question, I believe it was postponed until June 1st, and I do not have the termination date on that.
Nor is it on the application. It does say that it was postponed. It was originally scheduled to open April 13th, postponed until they actually opened. So the event did not, isn't expiring sooner than it would have otherwise if it had opened in April. It just began.
So the Mitchell is hosting this thing, and the Mitchell will be doing the advertising?
Yes.
Well, yeah, if that's what the application says, again, I think if there's questions on there, then perhaps what we should do is go back to the board or the executive director of the Mitchell and ask those questions so that we can understand and, of course, get answers. Very good questions.
So does someone want to make a motion to table this until we find out that information, or do we go with the information that we have now in front of us?
Can we look at, because the Sacred Heart event is currently operating and they would like the opportunity to promote it, can we look at a quarterly stipend until these questions operationally can be answered as to how long this goes on, things of that nature?
My suggestion is just the same, $1,000 for advertising and send us the bills. Because if they're already advertising, and I'm going to include, if they've already advertised for this particular event, and they've already paid for one of their advertising for this particular event, we will reimburse them up until $1,000.
Amanda?
I do agree with Camilla. I see where the questions that come from Scott are valid and important. I think obviously things got put on hold and it took a while to get things up and running. So being that she just opened June 22nd, it sounds like the event's probably going to take us into the fall. And I could be absolutely wrong about that. But I think with the $1,000, we should request, you know, specific answers to those questions of how long do you plan on having your event at this time, and it's almost like what's the point of that after we give them the $1,000. But in case we want to have another meeting, if we give the $1,000 here, we're actually only at $3,450, so we still have $6,000, you know, give or take, that we can still be giving to some of these events should they choose to go on longer or request more money. So
okay, thank you, sir.
Does that answer all questions?
Yes, thank you, Amanda.
Does that cover all the
Amanda, thank you for providing me that monetary update, because that was a question that I had. And so then if the Mitchell Museum has originally requested $6,000, why don't we put a motion forward for a quarter or 3 months? And if that means a quarter of their budget, it still does not take us over that $10,000. And again, subject to the concerns that Camilla had, which I agree with.
Okay. Sai? Thank you.
I agree with everything everybody said. I agree with what Scott and what Amanda says and what Camilla says, putting those stop gaps in it, and I do think that the Mitchell Museum is one of the few entities in the downtown area that we have open, and I'm grateful they're open. I would like to promote that a little bit more through the hotel, so maybe we can help out the museum with some more cash by promoting it at the hotels.
I agree with everybody. The one thing about the way I feel about the Mitchell is they're in our downtown area, and I would like to give them $2,000 towards that grant to help them with the advertising, because I do feel a lot of people go in there and will go in there from the community and from the motels to see that. So that would be my recommendation. If anybody wants to make a motion on to what amount we could give them.
Tom, may I interject something real quick?
Go
So
ahead.
that we're not doing anything out of line before a motion is made or a vote is taken. I request that Mr. Z recuse himself because he has a personal interest in this particular grant.
I think that you should give me that opportunity to make that, and I absolutely will do that.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott. Okay,
I make a motion to give the AR Mitchell Museum $2,000 And we'll go from there.
I didn't quite hear that.
I didn't hear you, Amanda.
I'm really sorry. I'm in a closet pretty much, which is at work, you know, but I do make a motion to give A.R. Mitchell VC $2,000. With receipts for advertising up to 2,000. Okay, I'll reword that. I make a motion to provide up to $2,000 for the A.R. Mitchell Museum with receipts for advertising.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
And that's with receipts, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Campbell?
go, Marty.
Yes.
Press?
Yes.
Latrell?
Yes.
Zeches?
Now, just so I'm clear here, the protocol would be I say I abstain. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's what I would like to do, is abstain from vote.
And Michael?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next item up would be new business. Billboards Mile High Outdoor. Marty had gotten some information on that and sent it to everyone. If everybody's had an opportunity to look at that.
Scott, Tom, can you back up to old business where it says automobiles?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't see that. Automobiles?
Automobiles. So,
Okay.
just to bring everybody back up to speed on automobiles, the board approved a payment to automobiles when they were here filming the piece for Artocade to do a separate commercial for the tourism board. The mayor was interviewed and filmed, and they were supposed to develop a 30-second commercial, or maybe it was a minute commercial for us when they went live with that broadcast of that television series on NBCSN. That didn't occur because of COVID. They had some production problems. And so since we've already made that payment, I've been staying in contact with the producer, Howard Lipkett, and trying to find out what where we stand with that commercial. It has not been produced yet. So I wanted to bring the board up to speed. So in your packet, there is a copy of the email that he sent to me in response to that question as to why we have not received our commercial that has already been paid for. In that letter, basically it says that they're in a hold position. They're waiting for things and events to normalize so they can pick up production. They've completed editing the Trinidad episode, because we have many stories. They will actually be producing a follow-up to that production as well. In the meantime, the production has been delayed, and he says, I hope we understand, and we're hoping to pick it up by late September or early fall. I guess NBCSN is in a hold position as they wait word from professional sports leagues that they can carry, and waiting for that scheduling. So just wanted to give you an update on where that was and ask if the tourism board had any other direction on actions that could be taken or was desired to be taken.
Was a contract given to us on that, Marty? Have you read that contract, or maybe you could pass it on? Maybe you could pass it on. Is there anything in there that of reimbursement? And there's nothing,
No, nothing on reimbursement if the contract was not fulfilled. But I will review and send you a copy of that contract for a second review.
maybe that contract could be given to Les Downs, and he could have that in his possession. That way, if something never does come of it.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Marty, what was that dollar amount?
I believe it was $3,000. But I can't verify that. I don't have the figures in front of me, Mayor, but I will get that information to you.
Yeah, that's kind of concerning to me because, like I said, I watch that program periodically and I have not seen anything. Matter of fact, I watched it on Sunday, and I was going to ask you about that at some point, but I'm glad you brought it up today. I think just some follow-up needs to be done, and I think that conversation with them, and if they don't have it done by the end of this year, I think we should be able to ask them for reimbursement.
Right. So yeah, I was also concerned, Mayor, and that's why I reached out to them. And I just wanted to make the board aware that there is ongoing communication, and that to find out if the board wanted action taken on anything. So that's why it was just a reminder to everybody that it was still out there and that we haven't received it yet.
Good.
Thank you, Marty.
You're welcome. Okay, now you can go to Mile High Outdoors. Sorry.
Okay, new business, billboards. Marty sent us all some information on this Mile High Outdoor. They did cut their billboard advertising in half, 50%, and the different billboards that are throughout the northern part of Colorado, and there's one there that's would be west of Pueblo. The one that I thought would be really good for us would be the one in Monument. So I'll start with you, Camilla. If you looked at any of those and want to make any comment on them.
Just to let you all know, I contacted them on Friday, and as of that conversation, all of those billboards were still available.
Thank you. Camille, are you with us?
Yes, I am here. Now, yeah.
Do you have anything on those billboards that you were sent the information on?
No, I have nothing. Sorry.
Amanda?
Just to clarify, would this be switching the billboard to a new location or starting anew?
Starting a new one.
It's just a special that they have, that we have an opportunity to do some advertising up north that we probably couldn't afford because the cost of those billboards are so high. But this opportunity, being that we have the space to create now and the new addition of Fisher's Peak, maybe something on those two would be really good for the city. If you have anything on that, Amanda.
My question is, how long is it a year contract at this price? Is that the arrangement or the deal, or how long does the half off go? For just 1 year?
It is for 1 year, and that is, and the costs that you see before you are per month. So keep that in mind.
Okay.
Also, if you'll note that there is one digital billboard available. It's a little bit higher price than the others, not by much, but there's no production fees, so the cost that you're seeing will not change when production is made, and they do the production based on our recommendations, and that the digital billboard also has unlimited copy changes. So that is the one billboard that you can actually change if you wanted to advertise Artocade for 3 months and change it out to Fisher's Peak at the beginning of the year and advertise Fisher's Peak. There's that opportunity. Whereas with the other billboards, once you print something on them, that will be what's up there for an entire year. So just making you aware of that.
And also the Santa Fe Trail would be a good one. It's right in Monument as you're, it's right in Monument as you're coming down. I'm sorry, I was walking on
And
you.
that's the oh no, that's okay. And that's the digital billboard outside of Monument,
Yes.
southbound.
Yes.
What is the price on that?
It's a right-hand,
Cost
it's
per
a
month?
right-hand side read.
The price on the digital, Amanda?
Yes.
Yes.
Are we in a kind of an open discussion, or are we going down the line for everybody?
We're in an open discussion, and I'll get to you,
Okay.
Scott. Okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Yep.
The digital billboard is $700 a month. The the one in Pueblo and Colorado Springs are $500 a month, and the one in Canyon City is $400 a month.
The one in Monument, I think, is the one that would really be good for us, because we have so many things that we can put on that one, that we can change it in and out. Amanda.
I agree with that. I think over the math over the year is 8,400. And Marty, you said there's no like additional production costs or with that.
There's no production costs or installation costs or design service fees.
Okay. And we would give them the information and they would design it for us. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. How soon do we need to hop on this radio?
Only that they're have contacted a lot of people and let everybody know that these are available. So it's a first come, first serve. So I'm just letting you know that. But they were still available on Friday.
All right. Scott, what do you think?
Sorry, just a moment. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, great. Based on the tourism that I have recently seen at my business on Santa Fe Trail, I would probably say I'm concerned to commit to these monies. Billing amount looks very simple on a monthly basis, but as Amanda has pointed out, it's quite significant over the period of 12 months. I'm concerned that we have enough tourism coming into the community based on what our reality is today. I'm thinking that we should look internally when what we're doing for these tourists currently. Is it better to spend the dollars towards getting the trolley out and running? Is it better to spend the money for more support at the Welcome Center? And these are only examples. I just want to ask that we look internally and do our housekeeping to say we're ready for more tourists before we try to bring more in. I don't want to frustrate the tourism, is what I'm saying.
One of the things, Scott, is where you're at, you're probably getting a lot of southern traffic.
Correct.
So to me, I feel I would love to see the northern part of the state see some of these ads, especially at Fisher's Peak, Space to Create. We're trying to rent out those slots that we have in it. Fisher's Peak. We also have the bicentennial, the 200th year of the Santa Fe Trail. All of those things up north, if you put that bug in their ear, they always know that these are things that are coming up in this area down here, and that's would be awesome if we could target that northern part of Colorado.
Okay, very good.
But
how about the? Yeah, I just want to give Cy an opportunity to chime in here with regard to the tourism that she's seen and maybe some of the feedback that they are providing in conversation in the lobby. Is there enough opened up again for tourists to be attracted and to return and things of that nature? That's the thrust of my comment.
Here's another thing to keep in mind, that this is going to be for 1 year, so we're never going to get this price again. and so that's why I feel it's a good one. So if we're in a better place after the first of the year, we've locked in $700 in advertising that would normally be $1,500 a month. So there's this is an opportunity that we may never see again. So that's,
I can certainly understand your point. In fact, I agree with your point. However, the conservative side of me says next year's budget is going to be harder than this year, and now we're making commitments for that, and that scares me.
Okay, Si?
Okay.
Let's side.
I'll do that.
Just so that we're all clarified, is that contract is actually a 4-week contract. It's not a monthly contract, so the price is about $750 a month if we're going to take it by 12 months. Just as a side note, because I always like to have things transparent, so it's $9,100 a year. The only thing I would like to know is if there's any trees in front of this board, if it is a double board or if it is not a double board, because we've run into that over, it's not just the tourism board, but hotels. We've run into that problems over the years of really thinking we get a good deal, but there's a tree or something in front of the digital. That's why people didn't take it. If that's true, if it is a digital billboard, right-hand read coming out of Denver, we've been quoted before $25,000 for boards. In the state of Colorado, it's been very hard for the city to attain boards at that price. This is a heck of a deal to get our name, even if when we aren't having any event that we want to help prosper, even if it just says stop in Trinidad, because it's a digital billboard and we can change it on just a busy day, but we don't have anything coming in. I think it's a heck of a deal to get Trinidad's name up north with the amount of traffic. Our traffic here in Trinidad is 8,000 north and 8,000 south, 16,000 a day. So I can't even imagine what that is coming out of Denver, going into Springs and Pueblo. So I'm very conservative on spending money, but if we can, for $750 a month, get Trinidad's name out there flashing for people as they're driving by, I think it's a great deal.
There's a picture. There's a picture of it on the iPad. You can see the billboard itself. It's coming down. It's a right-hand side read. There's no obstructions by it or around it. It's a pretty big billboard. So
it's actually a 10 by 30, and the visual of the picture of the billboard shows it from the highway, and it looks like an amazing board. It really does. And your right side is $700 for a 4-week period, but the rate is based on 13 4-week periods. It has a 64-second loop, 8-second spots, 24-hour illumination. It's a long, unobstructed right-hand read located north of the exit for Monument, the Air Force Academy, and Focus on the Family. It targets traffic traveling into Colorado Springs from Monument, Castle Rock, and Denver Metro. And I just wanted to add that at this time at the Welcome Center, we are seeing more, well, maybe not more, just as many visitors, in-state visitors coming down to Trinidad as we have out-of-state visitors coming in from our southern states. The CTO has been targeting in-state destinations and promoting in-state vacations and 3-day stays, 3-night itinerary, or 3-day itineraries and 5-day itineraries. And one of the questions that we have here at the Welcome Center that we're required to ask of all our visitors is, where are you coming from? Where are you traveling from? What your home zip code is, and where you're traveling to. And in the last 3 weeks that we've been open, we have had a steady increase of visitation that is their destination is Trinidad, and they're coming from the north in-state, and they're looking at just short trips, 3-day itineraries, camping here and going back. And a lot of those, like I say, are already Colorado residents, and they're traveling south.
And Marty, you say we could change this out as many times as we want?
What it says in there is that there is no, it says design services are free. There's no changes for production. And that there's no charge for, oh, I see. There's no charges for production of digital billboards and unlimited copy changes.
So in other words, we can put something in there for Artocade. We could put something in there for we could put even the Mitchell Museum. We could.
Anything. You can have unlimited copy changes.
I think for our money, we'd never get another buy like this probably if everything goes back to normal. So.
And the tracing would be incredible. The tracing would be incredible. Say we decided we wanted to advertise the Mitchell Museum for 2 weeks. We could actually trace that by going back to Allison and seeing how many people have come in. So the tracing of that would be just really incredible.
I wonder if
I have a question.
Mr. Mayor, would you like?
With
Mr. Mayor, would you like to say anything on that?
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, would you like to say anything on that?
I was going to say, I think it sounds like it's a really, really good thing because one thing that comes to mind, first of all, is that, when the governor was here last week, he's talking about possibly having a ribbon cutting on Fisher's Peak, maybe in October. I'm not sure who all will be there, if it'll be open for the public or how this is going to work out, but it could be something like that we're trying to, we listened to this RPM group yesterday, and we could say that, put something up there like, Fisher's Peak, your new 42nd State Park, coming in 2021, or just to keep that in the back of people's mind as they're coming through. And then, like I said, if there's a limited amount of advertising that you could do on it, I think that's great, that you could change it out as many times as you want and advertise. You can advertise the golf course, you can advertise Monument Lake, you can advertise, like I said, the Mitchell, you can advertise some of the things that are going on in town. We just keep trying to put ourselves on the back of everybody's mind. I think this is a good way to do it.
Thank you. Anybody want to make a motion for that?
Well, sorry, can I add a comment? Yeah, I just wonder if you can hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, I just wonder if the CTO in the state of Colorado is doing a campaign to promote internal visitations in the state, and being that we have the newest Colorado State Park, maybe the CTO office can help us to fund this because it fits in alignment with what the CTO is trying to do.
That's a great idea, Scott. However, what the CTO does is generally award grants, and we would have to wait for a grant opportunity and then apply for that grant. And the opportunity to obtain this advertising would probably be long gone by then. So, and they don't fund already paid for stuff, so we couldn't get a retroactive payment for it.
Right. Well, that's absolutely a good point. And I just wonder if, and I throw out the CTO, but maybe there's somebody else, another entity at the state level that could take some of those funds that they've already gotten approved and directed it towards this. It's nothing but a question or a letter that needs to be asked.
Thank you.
We could definitely research any opportunities to do that. So I'll take that on if you like.
I have a question. My line of thinking is with Marty. As a merchant downtown, there's a lot of Texans coming to town, but over the years, and I continue to see over the years, a lot of people come out of the Colorado Springs, Denver area on day trips. They come camping at our dam, Trinidad Lake. I was amazed how many people come out of Pueblo and Springs just on day trips. And I think for us to get advertising up north is a wonderful thing. So on that note, I'm going to make a motion to go run with this, that we would do this billboard.
Yes, I'll second that. I think this is huge for the Fisher's Peak acquisition. We could start whenever things are updated, put on that sign, not alone for the rest of our community. I think it's an excellent thing. I'll second that.
You want to take a vote, Marty?
Campbell,
Yes.
Press,
Yes.
Littrell,
Yes.
Cetus,
I would like to say yes, I can support this with the caveat that we try to find additional funding to expand the effort.
and Michaels.
Yes, and on Scott's note, you know, we should really look at the CTO website and see if there's any matching fund grants or something like that. But yes.
Alrighty. Guess that's it then.
Next would be board reports.
I don't have a board report. I think it would be a really nice gesture, though. I thought the other day, after seeing all this worked out on the July 4th and what a great job that was with the fireworks and how everybody felt about it and how much good stuff was written about Facebook, to put a note to the city of Trinidad and to the Main Street group, specifically Kim Schultz and Penny Saidi, that every year really work with the vendor that does that fireworks and for the city for giving them the money to do that. It was a great partnership between those two groups, and I really think Kim and Penny need that credit, and City Council for going forward with that.
Thank you.
That note could come from you, Tom, but I really think that we need to recognize that tourism, the other groups that are helping tourism by going ahead and supporting things that we would love to see done.
I agree with you, Cy, and I think I see a lot of good things, you know, like downtown that they went on, they put the flags up on the 4th of July, and the one thing is they're done some paintings that they put in that west block on West Main. They've kind of dressed up that building a little bit, and you know, all these flower boxes and everything hanging. I think it's, and the finishing of the Space to Create, all that looks really great. I think it's just all positive things for Trinidad, even with where we're at. If anybody else has anything to say. Okay, staff reports.
Well, can I go back to that real quick, Tom?
Sure, go ahead.
Does anybody want to fashion a letter to the editor, maybe along those lines, or did you want me to do something like that? And
I'd be happy to write that. If that's, there was after the fire, we watched them in Chino Park, and after the fireworks were done, you could seriously hear the whole town hooting and hollering, and it was so awesome. So I feel like I've got pretty emotional draw to this, and I would love to take that on, if that's okay.
You could send me a copy. I'll also post it on our Facebook page.
That sounds good, and I probably will need some help, you know, just to make sure that I'm including all of the things that Cy had said and mentioned. So just so I'm not leaving anybody out, I will get to work on it, and I'll send you kind of what I've got. And if anybody thinks of anything, please forward it my way and remind me to include it. So
thank you, Amanda.
Hey, Tom, this is Phil. Tom, this is Phil.
Good.
Before we move on to staff reports, you know, we had a couple of people that were interested in, you know, being on the Fisher's Peak group, and I've made that decision. And I'm going to go with Cy. The reason being is that she has been involved with the Fisher's Peak from pretty much from day one in some fashion or another. So she does have a lot of history with the project. So I need to call Melissa Rary, who is the THK coordinator, and let her know, and upon their approval, which I'm sure there shouldn't be an issue, and then I'll follow up with Si on that, and you as well.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate that. Congratulations, Si.
Thank you.
Now we move on to staff reports.
The only report that I had was that City Council is requesting presentations for budget requests on July 27th. Mayor, how does that usually proceed? Does a tourism board representative, or does the entire board have to present? Do we have to draw up something?
I would say get a hold of Mike, but I would say probably either just you and probably maybe Tom. You might ask him to see, but I think just a couple of you for a presentation.
Okay. And that is on July 27th. So the next work session for tourism board will be on the 22nd. So I will have it on the agenda so that we can discuss our budget, and then we can have that information available for the meeting on the 27th.
So our work session is on when, Marty?
July the 22nd.
And then the presentation is on the 27th?
Yes.
Or the budget the request is on the 27th?
Yes.
Do you think that we need to meet earlier than that so that we can discuss that with everybody present, or do you think that's a sufficient amount of time?
I have like that, and that's one of the reasons. That's the reasoning behind why I presented you with the worksheets and the budget recaps and all that information. You all have that now. I love you to take a look at that and work up any questions, any concerns, any ideas that you might have on the budget, so that you are prepared on the 22nd, so that we can review that budget, and then we can have something concrete that we will present to City Council on the 27th.
Okay, and the one thing that I would request on that meeting is I would like a budget update, as if you can get that from Cheryl, with everything up.
The only thing that wasn't on that update, Tom, was the second quarter lodging taxes that have been received. So I'm still awaiting Cheryl.
Okay, then that's what I'm referring to, is that, because I really am interested to see what went on in that second quarter as going forward. So I don't know if anybody else has anything that they would like you to have on that day of the work session. That way we really have our ducks in a row, so we do a request to City Council to help us with the Welcome Center and everything. So if anybody else has anything to add to that.
Tom, the only thing I recommend is that on that work session, that would be the only item on that agenda for the day, because budget usually takes, there's a lot of questions and answering going back and forth. So if you possibly can, have that as a single item only that day.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that help. And Camilla, you have anything?
No, I agree with you guys very much.
Amanda?
I will do my homework and look over the worksheets, and I will be asking a lot of questions that day. That's all I got.
Okay. Si?
No, thank you, Tom.
Is this, we're going to try to meet together? Is that, from what I understand, we're going to try to meet together rather than on this wonderful computer?
I would appreciate if we could do that.
And I'll get back to you probably later today, possibly, because I'm going to call Mike. I have to talk to him anyway on a couple of other issues, and I'll ask him and mention your request. Yeah.
Even if we could move in, even if we could have it in the chambers, Mr. Mayor, and then I've been in there where they had the table spread out to where we're the 6 feet apart.
And I think
Thank you.
that probably would be doable. And I'll get back to you later today on that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so what I'm
Scott?
hearing is,
Right. Let me
I'm
ask
sorry.
Scott. He didn't have any input on. Do you have anything to say on that, Scott?
No, what we've talked about and lined up for the board, for the budget is no concerns, certainly moving in the right direction.
All right, thank you. Okay, Marty.
So then, the next,
Well, Marty, what day would that be on that, that you guys are gonna meet, the 20 what first?
22nd.
Tuesday, at
9
9
o'clock?
a.m. Yes, sir.
9 a.m.? Okay, because it'll also make sure that, that the chamber's available as well.
Okay. So then what I have is July 22nd. I'll confirm with the mayor and with Mr. Valentine and make sure that we're allowed or are going to meet in City Council chambers on July 22nd at 9 a.m. to discuss the budget, and that item will be the only item of discussion on that agenda.
That will be fine.
Okay, I'd like to adjourn this meeting at 10:53 a.m. Wednesday, July the 8th. Thank you, everybody. It's a good meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Till next time.
This conference is no longer being recorded.
Thank you, Marty.
Thank you, Tom.
gave them back to him. I mean, I sent actually to you and Clayton thinking, no, hey, you know, because you had the right to decide what you wanted to do. And I was like, okay. So, but yeah, I sent it to him and I gave it to her and just said, you know, goodbye. But yeah, they were not happy with me for sending that. And I'm like, you know, I was trying to do the right thing. That makes me feel better. Good. Yeah. That you are very wise. You're gonna let me. Yes. And so what I'm going to tell you, please don't share with anybody. But this is between you and I. So when it was all said and done, Jason paid for 15 test certificates. Well, and I sent those to you, but Shelley needed some, so I added on. And then what else did they get? They got a few other things, more memorial holders, and then the first wife wanted more death certificates, and so I said, you know, there's a couple $100 more, and Shelley got mad at me. It's like, well, Jason already paid for it. I said, he did, but you guys kept adding on, and I have to pay for out of my pocket for this. Well, they got mad at me. And really, and then when you add in the ashes, then they got even more mad at me. And I'm like, I'm just trying to do the right thing and tell you guys this. And then Jason sent me a nasty thing, and please don't share this with him. Because this guy probably wanted to fight me. It's like, I don't want to do that. I'm too old for that. But then he sent me a thing, of like a negative review on the credit card thing, saying that he was going to call me. And I took a picture of it and I sent it to Shelley saying, what is this all about? Yeah. What?